Welcome back everyone to another exciting episode of HydraBadger TV, where we are continuing the qualifiers for HydraBadger, which is HydraBadger's new Zerg-only account for 1v1s. This is the second qualifier. Once again it is ZvP against our Protoss enemy here in the blue, spawning in the bottom left, Invincible. Now, after the last game, HydraBadger commented that they kind of figured that they would be facing a silver after how badly they crushed that bronze player. Unfortunately, this guy was once again bronze. That was discovered, of course, after the match, where you can look at the guy's league and everything. We are going to be playing on Entombed Valley here, so fortunately for HydraBadger, I do believe we're going to see a scout downward first, so we are going to have... Oh no, it may be going cross position. Yes, it does look like it's going to be cross position. Oh, sending the overload down there, that means it's going to be last one scouted, because this overload's going to take a while to get down there. Looks like these scouting probes are actually going to run into each other. That's kind of comical, isn't it? Yeah, they are going to cross paths here and then move on. That's sort of funny. Doesn't happen very often, right? Now at this point, the overload's almost there, and unfortunately, is going to, I do believe, do a roundabout. Yeah. Didn't think he was there, and then he's like, oh, well, he's not there, he's got to be here, doesn't he? Checking for a wall off. I think at this point, HydraBadger was possibly considering doing a ling rush, which actually would have been brilliant against this guy if you look at it. He has absolutely nothing to defend against it. No forge, no nothing. But Hydra did elect to go hatch first, followed by pool. They will be finishing around the same time, of course, because the spawning pool does take a lot less time to build than the hatchery does. Getting that second base started and populated, getting the gas started, which means I do believe we're going to see roaches again. The order of the day in ZvP, of course. Getting ling speed this time, very interesting. Bit of a deviation from last game where roach speed, or ling speed, sorry, was never even researched. Does get the evolution chamber down, mostly for upgrades. I'm assuming there isn't going to be any anti-air worries, since it's very unlikely that a bronze or silver league player is going to go something crazy like Phoenixes, but you never know. Warp gate inbound for our enemy here. Still no forge, so again, this would have been just a tinful speedling all-in would have crushed this guy in hindsight. Link speed finishing up along with the queens. A bit slow on the injects. But the roaches are inbound. Lair should be starting here any moment now. There it is. Inbound to get the, of course, +2 ranged, and more importantly, the roach speed, because slow roaches are horrible off of creep, especially against immortals, which I do believe we're going to be seeing some. Oh, he has a robot. This guy, it's quite obvious at this point that he's bronze, because he has 4 gates and a robo. You can't support that off of one base continually, unless, of course, you're floating money because you're bad and not making units, which is exactly what this guy is doing. Lair is done. Instantly starts roach speed. Doesn't quite have this fully populated, but I don't think that's the goal at this point. I think that once this overlord, which I do believe it moves in and spots the expansion here, once the overlord spots the late expansion, Hydra pretty much decides to move out at that point. Not starting +2 just yet, and it's going to be any second now. Just waiting on the gas. Should have taken the third gas like they did last game, eh? Making more units instead of droning up the second base. Up to 87 supply now, so this is going to be a push for sure. Unless, of course, building the units to do nothing, which is highly unlikely. More roaches and lings coming out. Come on, use the Evo chamber. Use the Evo chamber. Well, gotta get the 150 gas first, right? And there it is. Oh, melee, very interesting. Getting +1 on both before attacking, that's just kind of mean, to be honest. Finally droning up the expansion a little bit harder here. What's hilarious is this guy still has no probes on his natural, even though it's been done for a while now. I mean, you can tell by the energy, it's been done for a bit. At least about 30 seconds before any probes were even begun being made. Stalkers, zealots, no immortals. I don't even know. He just used the robo for observers and nothing else. That's brilliant. We got a full page of roaches, 24 roaches, and a nice complement of lings to soak up damage and nibble away at zealots. I do believe that we're going to be waiting for the melee attack, or they may just go ahead and move out. We'll see here in a second. This is getting... Look at the supply difference here. This guy is just not handling himself well at all. He's supply blocked, and building of all things one immortal. That's it. That's all he's got, and then these stalkers. He's only at 68 supply, and we're 12 minutes into the game now. And this is getting not close to a max army, but it's definitely big enough that there's literally no way this guy can handle it at this point. This was a mistake here, though. I do believe this was intended to take the watchtower, but because of this guy pushing it out, it didn't happen. But fortunately for HydraBadger, it's not going to matter, because this amount of roach and ling is just way too much for this guy to handle. We're talking about 50 lings and 34 roaches. That's big. That is a big army for somebody of this caliber to deal with. And here comes the flood. That's a bit of an interesting comparison there. The flood in Halo versus the Zerg in StarCraft 2. Very similar in many ways. So here we go. This is gonna be... I do believe this is gonna be it. So, well, you can tell by the game time just said. Getting that concave on the zealots there. The zealots are pretty much mode. They do kill most of the lings, but the lings have done their job, so we'll damage as well. And the guy just auto leaves when he sees that micro. That's just kind of sad, really. But that does conclude Game 2. We're going to move right on into Game 3, which is another ZvP. I do believe it gets more interesting than this one, but I'm not positive. Stay tuned, and we will be back very shortly with that game. And have a great day if we don't see you before then.